Greetings and salutations, and welcome once again to the Capeless Crusaders. I just blew up my candle. My name is David Barry at DR Barry on varying social media platforms. That thunder roll is long and ridiculous.
That's what you get from Disney.
To my right, we have...
I met this 6-year-old boy with a motionless face and the blackest eyes. The devil's eyes. This is the Azorian one, Anthony Steves.
We don't need to know about your weekend.
Did he look like a Inside Out William Shatner?
How did you know?
Were they a doll's eyes?
No, not a doll's eyes. I'm going to pass it now to... Who am I going to pass it to? That way, the one to your left.
Greetings, foolish mortals. It is I, the Mad Piper. There was no lightning to me.
You gotta cue me next
That
time.
would have been the best.
There it
Yes, at the Mad Piper. Also,
His Majesty.
His Majesty.
His Majesty. Get it?
Come to Twitch. Play around. Have fun.
Joining us,
Some of the things you
all the way to the left, our guest for the evening, we have...
The thirst is real, everybody. I am Sir Aaron Carter. I don't have a scary voice because black people are scary enough. But
Is it still America?
Wait, hang on. Let me get you a little thunderclap
There
in
you
there.
go.
Yeah, there you go.
you don't
Black people.
have, you don't have gunshots.
He does.
I did have an M16.
You should have done that one. That's what we're known for the most. And yeah, I'm Sir Aaron Carter. Like I said before, one of the hosts on the video game Bang.
Yeah.
You can check us out, of course, everywhere. Just type in video game Bang and stay away from all the adult sites.
Oh, those.
Oh, yeah.
That's not you guys.
We get
Weird.
confused a
No.
lot. We get
I'm
confused
sorry.
a lot.
As
Yes.
always,
My
if you're
mistake.
looking for anything related to the Capeless Crusaders, you can find it at thecapelesscrusaders.com.
Yes.
It's our wonderful website. It's got our social medias. It's got some articles that are updated weekly, courtesy of our editor-in-chief, His Majesty, the Mad Piper.
MAD.
And we can also
get it.
You can also find links to our Twitch, twitch.tv/The Capeless Crusaders, where we play games sometimes. I play Hearthstone. You play Overwatch and Destiny. It's very
And
entertaining.
Smite.
And Smite.
Pinball.
And for all of your local computer repair and video game needs.
What's this?
See that segue?
Oh, look at that.
That's a
Computer
ham-fisted
booter.
stick- This whole thing just lit up. We all got really bright.
Computer Booter is a local computer repair shop, mobile device repair shop, and retro video game shop. They have a gaming lounge. We had Curtis
Really?
doing a live stream from there the other night where you can go in, you can hang out, you can pay to play. They also have Smash Brother tournaments on Friday nights. They got some pretty pro level players, including none other than Existential Romeo.
Oh, what's
Curtis
that?
Fisher, soon to be on the national circuit.
I need to get there because that's going to bring back the LAN Cafe Counter-Strike days.
Yeah.
And Team Fortress.
A little,
Okay,
little bit of CS:GO.
Maybe I'm out of place here a little, but have you guys ever had the owner of that place on your show here?
No.
Nope.
It feels like you guys would do the Wayne's World segment with him.
This guy totally blows up.
Yeah, like I feel like that's what you guys would do. I don't know. I didn't want to ruin any relationships with
Well,
you
there
guys.
goes that. We lost our spot.
Wow.
Sounds
Center
Sorry.
says what?
Exactly.
On this week's episode, we are, of course, going to go around the horn. We're also, before that, we're going to have a call with one of the organizers of the Tracy Comic Show we went to last year. It's going to be happening again this year that we are going to be going to.
Is their name Tracy? Is this nice and easy?
No.
Oh.
Their name is Rachel. The city is Tracy.
Oh.
My city.
We're also going to get a little more information about Aaron Carter and what he does in the podcast world. And then we're going to talk maybe about some creepy comic books.
Some werewolf bar mitzvah.
And what makes them creepy.
I
So,
love this episode so much.
when we are in a comic book store...
What?
Oh, we're going to make the call first. My bad.
We make calls inside comic book stores. We make calls.
We don't
Never
go
mind.
around the horn yet. We make
No,
calls.
we
So
make
we're going
phone
to be
calls.
talking to Rachel from the Tracy Comic Show. We are contacting the spirits. Spirits. That is. Hello, Rachel. Rachel, can you hear us?
From beyond.
Faja, can you hear me?
Rachel!
Are you there, Rachel? It's me, Margaret.
Carol Ann? Carol Ann, go to the light.
Speak to the spirits. Tap 3 times if you can hear. I don't.
That might work. That might work.
Rachel.
Is this room actually stretching?
Give me ghost. Come out to socialize. Rachel, are you there? Is she on the East Coast?
Rachel.
I burned my finger so
She
bad
got-
relighting my
She
my
got
candle.
switched with Harvey Dent, so
goes-
we're on the phone.
I was literally going to say,
We're on the phone
depending
Harvey.
on what time
Oh,
it is,
we
she
got-
might be
yes.
in one
We got
place
it.
or several.
2:15. Oh, no, we got the place wrong.
Do I look like a guy with a plan?
Should I hang up and reattempt the call?
Where my family died.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rachel.
Rachel.
That was the noise of failure.
We shall try again to contact Rachel.
Hold on.
Spirits above.
Oh,
Don't look at the Piper's arm.
Renfield.
Do you want me to call her? Okay, I'm gonna call her. Rachel, we're calling you.
Rachel, we're calling you.
Rachel,
If you're watching
you
us,
wanna talk about boys?
Rachel, lower your radio when we're talking to you. Lower your radio.
So turn your radio down. Turn your radio down.
We can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Are we?
Hey, what's that sound?
Long time caller.
First time listener.
No, that's the summoning sounds.
Ah,
I mean, it's not as creepy as you want it to be.
Hey,
Hey.
ooh,
Boo.
spooky,
Boo.
oh, creepy, eerie.
Oh, Jesus. You idiot. Don't light the store on fire.
Keep rolling.
That would actually make for a good show. I'm just going to let you guys know that right now.
Thank you, Amy.
Oh.
Rachel.
Rachel?
Rachel, are you there?
This is Rachel Adams, right? That's what we're talking about?
Rachel McAdams.
Okay.
Rachel McAdams
Rachel Johnson.
of movie fame.
Rachel.
Hello?
Don't burn your fingers. I burned my fingers pretty bad.
I already did earlier.
Rachel, if you don't pick up, we keep burning each other every time that you're not here.
My light's back.
It's,
Okay,
don't, hide it under the bushel? No.
less spookiness there.
You got to let that shine.
And they missed the comics. That's the good news. The comics did not get any wax. That's great.
Hide it under the bushel?
Fusta!
No.
Fusta!
Gavinia.
I think we may need to attempt another time. Do we maybe want to reschedule? Okay, we'll reschedule with Rachel. Apologize for that.
We will be rescheduling
I
with Rachel Volostoy.
We told
Well, what we can do is maybe when we have a Google Hangout or something, we can bring her in. Just a quick breakdown. Just we're gonna talk to Rachel when we can. But the Tracy Comic Show, just so everyone is aware. Ooh, look at that wonderful.
That is nice.
Yeah, it is November 4th and 5th. So it is sponsored, help part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Nice.
So a lot of the proceeds do go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It also does have a reptile expo, which
Ooh.
sounds strange
The
that there's
Tracy
a comic show.
Reptile
Reptiles.
Expo.
But it's super cool because
That
it's
is-
like
yeah.
it's like a full legit, like not just like, oh yeah, they brought a couple snakes. Like
Oh,
it's
the-
like
Cute snake.
it's awesome.
Nice.
That's
Oh,
okay. Here
oh,
we go.
are we
Oh,
Oh, man.
oh,
Third time?
oh, ooh.
That's it.
Rachel?
We've
Heyo.
the spirit!
Who's there? I don't know why it wasn't working.
Great success.
Neither do
Some
we.
technical difficulties on my end, apparently.
No worries.
We had you on mute the whole time. It was,
Yeah,
it was our fault.
we were just being doofuses. And we
Gotcha.
But anyway, so Rachel, thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thanks
So-
for having us.
So give me
Well, it's me, but I'm representing the whole idea.
give me some details about the Tracy Comic Show.
So the Tracy Comic Show, it is the third annual show. No, I lied. It's the fourth.
Ooh.
Nice.
Show second in conjunction with the Reptile Expo. So when people come out on November 4th and 5th, they're going to get both a miniature Comic-Con as well as a Reptile Expo. It's going to be a neat, fun event.
Fantastic. So, first off, where is it located? Because I remember where it was last year. Is it in the same spot?
It is. It's going to be at the Northgate Village.
Okay, cool.
The Old Tracy Outlet Center. And that's 1005 East Pescadero Avenue in
Nice.
Tracy, California. Northgate Village is actually one of our proud sponsors, and they've been able to help us host this event. It is going to take place in the comic convention is going to take place in 3 of their exhibit halls, and then one of them is going to be for the Reptile Expo. So it is a total of 4 rooms.
Nice. That is plenty of space.
Yeah.
So
It-
I'm looking at your guests. So
Yes.
right off the bat,
Oh yeah.
you have one of the co-creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Already awesome.
As in
Yes, we do.
the teenage as in turtle and a half shell.
Turtle power.
Turtle power.
Yes,
Radical,
exactly.
radical,
You know, like
radical.
Leonardo, Raph, Mikey.
Is he
Donatello.
Donnie.
is
The
he
works.
local or because I've never seen him around.
Kevin Eastman, by the way.
Kevin Eastman, by the
Really?
way.
Oh, that's his name.
That's his name.
Okay.
Kevin Eastman.
Not to be
Kevin
confused
Eastman is
with
actually
Jack
from
Weston.
down south. He's in the San Diego area. And he is coming up. He's been a proud supporter of our show for the last 3 years, and this is obviously the 4th one. And it's been a long time trying to get him to come out, just because it is really hard, and he's super busy, being that he is, one of the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But he is going to be there. He is there Saturday only, November 4th. We're very happy to have him and his wife, Courtney.
Nice.
This is a big day. This is the dream realized.
Yeah.
Oh, no, definitely. Who doesn't want to meet the creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? It's such a huge deal, especially for anyone who's into independent comics,
Right.
because him and Peter Laird were one of the most successful stories when it comes to independent comics.
Well, yeah, and they've turned around. They took a sketch of 4 turtles and turned it into I'm not going to say $1 billion because I don't actually know, but a lots of monies.
Lots of money.
Yeah, we'll go lots of monies.
Lots of
we're
monies.
talking films, cartoons, comics, toys.
You could be hitting billion. You could be hitting billion with that.
No, definitely. If you're big
Band-Aids.
enough that Nickelodeon buys you, I guess that means something, right?
You're kind of important. And on top of that, he was also involved, really involved with heavy metal, the heavy metal magazine. So he's actually
Yeah.
part of the reason it's printed in the U.S. is because of. You didn't know that? You're looking at me like you didn't know that. You didn't know that? Or
I
you-
had no idea.
yeah, pretty sweet, isn't
The
it?
one that's the movie too, right?
Yes, the one that's the movie.
At
the-
first, I thought he was backup singers for Sammy Hagar. The Take
no,
a
not that heavy metal.
That would
no,
be
the-
awesome.
The heavy metal magazine that Grant Morrison is heading up right now.
Oh.
So yeah, kind of a big deal.
Grant Morrison, ears perked up.
Grant Morrison. Oh.
And of course, last year we met Margaret Carey, who is one of those people that you don't realize who she is until you realize every role that she tells you that she's been in, and you look up her. I just looked up her IMDb page, and my thumbs got tired
Michael Bell situation
scrolling
all
through.
over
Yeah,
again.
Margaret Carey she's iconic, but she's like the most iconic Disney person that you almost didn't know existed.
Huh.
So so now is Margaret? Is she also local? Because you guys had her last year.
She's actually not either. We had to fly her up from down south. She's awesome, though. Other than being the original Tinkerbell model, which is awesome. How many people got to work with Walt Disney? I'm not sure if you got to see her tap dance. Have you ever seen her tap dance?
I'm not gonna say she's like, but she's not a young woman, and she's
No,
tapping.
she's not.
Okay.
I'm trying to
So-
keep it like nice.
Okay. I was gonna say like.
No.
Yeah.
She is. Come on. She was in Peter Pan. She was the model for Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
She's still
That's
spry.
pretty classic, we'll say. She's a classic
Okay.
character, iconic, like you said. And it was funny because and you'll get to see her panel. She is going to have her own panel on Sunday, November 5th.
Okay.
But in her panel, she kind of has this saying. She's like, it was so impressive back then when I was 3, and everyone was like, oh, look at her. She can tap dance. And now she says, well, now they still say, oh, look at her. She can tap dance. Because,
Lifelong
at her
skills.
age, she can still tap dance, and she's very, very good at it.
Yeah,
She's-
I'm looking forward to that. I didn't even know that was a thing, and now I'm really excited
yes.
for it.
She is one of the most animated people I've ever met, and for someone, she has experience,
Yeah.
and she's a wealth of knowledge, and she's just a great character to be around.
So now I'm going through. You've got the Ghostbusters, you've got the Wolves of Mandalore. Those what's the word I'm looking
Of course,
for?
you gotta have the cosplay club.
Yeah,
that
The
just
Star
makes sense,
Trek
right?
phaser
Not the
blaster?
Star Trek. I didn't want to call them like dirty bounty hunters because they're still Mandalorians. They're still honorable.
Birds.
Are they, so these
course
are
they
people
are.
that customize the Mandalorian?
Yeah,
outfits?
yeah,
One of
these-
them is the Giants.
Yeah.
Is it-
Oh, not well him, but
He's a
also like the dudes who like have like the super custom like black armor with like the
Oh.
big laser cannon and stuff.
Yes,
like
yes.
these dudes go all like in my opinion. The 501st, who's also going to be there. They're awesome. But the Wolves of Mandalore, as far as like customization goes,
For
they
Blue Ribbon.
they
Okay.
get the effort grade for me, and just with how intense They are, but now you.
Oh, they're awesome.
But now you guys have the Wolves of Mandalore and the 501st and the Rebel
Yes,
Legion.
So the 501st is going to be their Sunday only, and Rebel Legion, any of their volunteers that are going to be coming will be Sunday only. Wolves of Mandalore are the main attraction there in the sci-fi fantasy room, and they are going to be taking up 3 large vendor spaces because
Wow.
they're going to have an entire exhibit, which you do
Nice.
not want to miss.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Have you ever seen their jail?
Yes, I saw. Yeah. They're at
I've seen the inside of it.
Yeah.
we have seen them. They were, I believe, they were at
Someone got in trouble.
Silicon Valley Comic Con. They were super entertaining to see them in all of their glory. And then you also have you have the Cobra First Legion, and then a TMNT cosplay group. So you literally have the gambit of the cosplay clubs. Like you got all of them.
And you know, the really neat thing on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle side with the special cosplays, not only do we have a group, it's called TMNT Dave. They come and they're going to be in the turtle suits, but we also have a group coming from Southern California. It's the TMNT van, presented by Jason Ibarra, and he's going to bring like a classic van. So you could take pictures with the turtles and the van.
Like,
it's going to be super awesome.
Like the one that would like launch
Like the toy that we
the
had.
manhole
Yeah,
covers.
it was-
Like the van.
No,
You say gambit.
It's,
do
like,
not.
I mean, come
he
on.
meant Gamut.
Yeah, that I think that is every person on this panel who is of any age between 18 and 35.
What
like
are we
that's
saying? About everybody born about 85? Yeah.
85 to 90.
Right around
82.
85.
Ooh,
Yeah, 82. We'll go down.
88. I was going to say 84. is
Yeah,
what I
we'll
was,
go down a little bit lower. So, and of course,
Vintage.
Yes.
Rachel, you guys have tons of artists, tons of local artists. Our friend Christopher Williams is going to be the Black Da Vinci.
Nice.
So
Oh,
now,
yeah.
if
That guy's
we,
rad.
if someone wanted to get tickets for the Tracy Comic Con, is it only at the door, or is there somewhere they can get them online?
Of course they can get them online. They can get them at our website. It's becomeonevoice.com. But not only that, which, by the way, they are reduced when purchased before the show, when they buy them online, but they can also get them at certain brick and mortar stores. So Fantastic Collectibles in Manteca is selling them, as well as Maximum Sports in the Tracy Mall.
Nice.
Blast from the Past, which is also in Tracy. So a couple local stores, and you could check with your local comic book store and see if they're actually selling them, because a lot of them are.
Nice. And now,
Mm-hmm.
with cosplayers, there has to be
Yes.
a cosplay contest. Is that correct?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean,
You had to ask, really?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking at your website, but I wanted to make it seem like I was surprised.
We're being organic.
But it's like, I mean, you have to, at this point, like, it used to be just, hey, we wanted to get dressed up. Now it's like, hey, we want to get dressed up and prove that we're awesome.
In detail.
I want to
Oh,
win
of course.
something.
You can't just dress up anymore.
No, you got they're I mean, because they're so insanely good, some of these cosplayers. It's just it's hard not to want to see them show off and strut their stuff. And
Of course.
I-
And the neat
male or
thing,
female?
at least for us, is we do host a cosplay contest both days.
Nice.
It's going to be, so for people that can't come one of the 2 days, they do have the opportunity to still participate. The
rad.
times are going to be the same. So for children, it starts at 4 o'clock, and then for adults, it'll be 4:30.
Nice.
And usually, as much as we try to stick to those times, because there's a lot of people, sometimes it runs a little behind.
Oh yeah.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the more
Well,
I
it
mean,
gives you 2 chances. If you lose the first day,
You try the
you can
second
come
day.
right back.
go home, fix it up, re-enter.
That's right.
So now
Of course.
before we let you go, I wanted to know. So I know you guys are affiliated with Make-A-Wish. So can you tell us a little bit about how and why? I mean, why? It's obviously a wonderful organization, but why are you guys in particular connected with Make-A-Wish?
So that's a funny story, and it's really long, so I'm going to keep it really short. We started doing this show. We had been doing charity work for a long time, and we had owned a brick and mortar store. And my brother, who's not artistic, decided, well, I only am good at comics. So he was like, well, you know, I like what they did for Bat Kid. I want to contribute to that. So inspired by Miles Scott, Bat Kid from San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone hasn't heard of that story, they definitely need to check out the documentary.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Because it's called Bat Kid
Outstanding.
Begins. It's
Outstanding.
I think that's
amazing.
on Netflix now
Um,
too.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So watch that. It's what inspired the show from the get-go, and we developed a contract with Make-A-Wish. We host this event, and it benefits Make-A-Wish, and it's so neat because it's not just an event where we get to do what we love, our passions, our talents, our skills, but now we get to do it and make a difference in the local and global community. And what better way to spend time that we're already going to spend?
That's awesome. And that was not a long
Right?
story. That was a great story.
She truncated it. It was
That was good.
I really
Masterfully done.
shortened it. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Well, awesome.
Clip
Well,
notes.
Thank you for coming on and telling us a little bit more about the Tracy Comic Show. Is there anything that we should be letting the fans know? I mean, we gave them the date, we gave them the time, we gave them the location, where to buy the tickets,
The turtles.
the turtles, which is the turtles. Any other big
The
points
turtles.
that you needed people to know about the Tracy Comic Show and Reptile Expo?
Oh, of course. Don't forget the Reptile Expo. That's like also equally good. I mean, in short, you could kiss a sloth. I'm just saying. Who doesn't want to kiss a sloth?
Sold.
Sloth or
And
reptile?
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Sold.
Will there also be amphibians?
There's an Amelia.
Of course.
I
There's going
think-
to be all sorts of reptiles and exotic animals. It's going to cover the masses.
I'm totally down with kissing a sloth. I'm gonna be there now that I mean I was gonna go, but now I'm gonna go with more fever, knowing that there is fervor, that there's a sloth waiting
Gambit
to
fever.
pucker up with me.
You've got a fever, and the only prescription is more sloth.
There's
Yes.
more reptiles.
All right, so Rachel, thank you for coming on, and we will see you come November 4th.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks
Take
for
care,
coming
Rachel.
on.
And we have unsummoned the spirits.
spirits have gone back to where
So
they are.
yeah, that's weird technical things, but Rachel is great. So thanks for having.
I dropped a candle.
Yeah, I think we all dropped a candle
Yeah,
at some
I'm
point.
running out of wax over here.
He's got
And the
this
flowers are still standing.
Yeah.
Well,
This one little
so
communion cracker of
when
Yeah.
wax.
when we're in a comic book store and we're surrounded by comic books, you can't
ghostly.
really see them
Right.
because they're,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. How about them?
visual effects.
Tinkerbell.
Don't
Hey,
light them on fire.
If somebody was behind us, that'd have been horrible, right?
When we're in a comic book store, we like to go round the horn. Was that supposed to be laughing or crying?
That you don't know, do
Oh, okay. Do you want to relight your candle that
Yes,
you blew out doing
dang
that
it.
stupid sound?
I feel like
So,
unprepared for that.
Yeah.
to be fair, it's never that ridiculous.
Okay.
It's pretty ridiculous normally, but that was over the,
This is the initiation. It's like watching Rocky Horror, and the next time you do it.
Okay.
Like you learn all the.
Okay, now no, yeah.
Yep.
For future episodes.
So you go round the horn, and then we all look to you like.
So when we go round the horn, we go around the table in a circular fashion, except for the fact that we no longer have a circular table. It has been years
Yeah.
since we had a circular table. So we go around the horn, we talk about which comic books we've been reading this week.
I
And
think this is built on a lie too. I think that was an octagon.
Built on a
I
lie.
don't think we were on a circular table.
Never circular.
All right.
yeah, actually,
sorry.
you might be. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with our guest this week.
Sir.
Our guest down there, Aaron Carter, Sir Aaron Carter. So, what comics have you been reading this week?
Well, I know I have just finished the series by Image called Nailbiter.
Ooh.
And if you have never read this one and you're into, I guess, whodunits and horror stories, this is definitely one to pick up. This is literally, it shot up to like my, I don't know, top 5, I will say, comic books of all time. It's a mystery, kind of set in modern times. Is a city that produces a lot of serial killers with themes, we'll say. And the main character, his theme, quote unquote, is biting the fingertips off of his victims.
Yummy.
After he's killed them.
Man.
You have a
Gross.
police officer that goes to the town getting a letter from another friend saying, "Hey, I've solved the mystery," type of thing. He goes missing. Let me go find my friend. Only person that knows kind of anything about the guy is the nail biter. So he has to team up with the nail biter
Right.
to find his friend. And it is a
Nail biter?
It is a nail biter. There you go.
It sounds
Yeah.
good.
It got me hooked. There's 30 issues,
Nice.
and I could not put the mouse clicker down because I got the digital
30
copy.
issues. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you got the omnibus.
Yes.
You
it
went straight through.
went straight through. Couldn't stop.
And,
It's very
and
addictive.
is it done?
It's done.
It is
As
wrapped.
and that's one of the other things that it really got me because there's an ending, and the ending is just great. It's
Nice.
like it's so good, and I would love to see this transition into a live action translation, but it's difficult. It's very very difficult to think of who could. This smells delicious, by the way.
This
It's
is the
very
candle for the Carter Bar Mitzvah.
very very difficult to think of the actor that could portray the nail biter and give that character justice.
Huh.
Yeah, yes.
So, Sir Carter.
What else? What am I forgetting anything?
No, you and I then need to go to like Netflix or Hulu and say Nailbiter / make these two into shows.
'Cause they
Correct.
were
We need to handle this.
connected somehow.
You
They were
write
connected. They were
Nailbiter.
100% connected.
Yeah.
They had a crossover, which I found, and I love the crossover as well.
It's gonna burn you.
So,
Give a
get
man a
you.
lighter, feed him for a day.
so I'm fully. If we have to pick it outside of
man.
Netflix's, office, let's do that.
You write the Nailbiter
build-
pilot. I'll write the hack
You
/.
build the
pilot.
stack.
Oh,
That's how he
hands
approaches it.
down.
Done.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's a scary task. I've never been like I'm a writer, but I've never been afraid to tackle a story. But that one
That be the one.
I would be afraid to not do it justice. Yes.
So, for future note, next year's Halloween show,
More candles.
electric candles.
Yes.
Electric candles.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, thanks. I Nailbiter. I keep looking at Nailbiter. It's one of those ones that I really do want to read,
You have to read that.
but I just. And honestly, I mean, that's we're going to talk a little bit later. Like horror comics haven't always been my thing, but I've come to appreciate them more as time has gone on.
Well, see, they're not my thing inherently either. I'm, superheroes, go off, save the day type of thing, you know? And I don't even know what drew me to Nailbiter. It was Hack and Slash. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was Hack and Slash.
Yes, glorious.
I saw the crossover, and I was like, I don't want to see what this one is. And it got me. It got me so... it was one of those unexpected. I've only had this instance like this of where I knew nothing about the source material and enjoyed it twice in my life. Nailbiter and Holes with Shia LaBeouf.
Interesting.
So
You have now decapitated
two
Shia
ends
LaBeouf?
of two ends of the spectrum.
That's good. That was good.
So,
This is an extra added challenge. We're in expert mode, level 20, because we're just trying to keep these things lit this
And we
year.
can't exhale on them. That's a
I
problem.
like how we have not commented on that. We have a candlelight
Vigil?
episode.
Vigil.
Yeah,
legit
it
candles.
really needs no
and
introduction.
we're
but
burning
we've
our
not said a-
fingers
we've
with
not
them.
said a word.
I love it.
it's because this is technically this isn't our last episode. This is our last episode in Empires before Halloween. So
Yeah.
that's true. That's why. This
Oh, I feel like you guys are leaving here or
and,
something?
no, we got
Empires
another one. But
ever.
so Piper.
Yes, I kind of want to read Nailbiter now.
Well, too bad
His
because
Majesty.
because you have to tell us what you read this week.
Yeah.
So I read Batman.
Nice. Which one?
That one.
Oh, that one.
Number 33. It's the most current one. You want the good news or the bad news?
Good news.
Good news first.
Good news.
Yeah.
It looks like it transitions into something. Like it might become interesting.
I don't like where you're going
It might become better.
Are you?
Is this the good news?
I want to know
Yep.
how much spoiling can you do?
I mean,
Not a lot, but I'm like, can you give me a little back? Like, what was the issue before, or something? Like, what was this set up?
this is on a come down. So this
okay.
one is going to be the first of an arc.
Because
Okay,
the War
okay,
and
okay.
Jokes and Riddles just finished.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Is this something that has a tie-in with that?
I mean, yeah,
it's after.
on the heels of the Batman Catwoman
Proposal thing.
proposal
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
This continues there.
Okay.
So that's still they're together.
Okay.
Still, there's it's just a little setup. It's if anybody's Dark Towered before, it was the Dark Tower, the first book, the Gunslinger.
Okay.
It was just
Setup.
dry setup.
Okay.
It was, it
okay.
was sand in the mouth. This issue.
Which weren't they riding a horse through a desert?
Yeah.
With
So
no name?
it's both figurative and literal sand.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So I mean, yeah, it just didn't have a lot to it to me, but it looks like it's gonna pick up. I just don't know if I care with this current issue. This is like the only bad one that we've given for a while. It's just like, oh, check out this book. This one's like, I mean,
No,
let's see where it goes.
Remember the Batman one, the Dawnbreaker.
It's all
I was kind of like,
That's right, yeah.
Well, it's just it's when there's a billion Batman comics coming out,
Yeah.
it's easy to maybe kind of be like,
I've
okay.
already buried 14 Batman. Yeah, so I don't know. It just kind of missed to me. I'm not gonna stop reading because I like King and Gerard's to be decided.
Yes,
Gerard's.
yeah.
I like how they do, and I've liked it up until now. I like the handoff. It was just a little hard to stomach for an entire. It read slowly,
Was
very
it
slowly.
King Tiger or Tiger King that came back?
Is this a Tekken character?
No, well, never mind.
Sorry.
Did you burn out his light?
I'm
All you
running
saw,
low here. I'm
all you
running
saw
low
was the
here.
shades for a second.
Yep, I'm running low here.
What else did you read?
What else? I caught up on a lot. I caught up on Low, which is also dropping for me. I caught up on Saga.
Oh, but you didn't have like another like big like.
No.
This is the one. This is the
That
one.
was
you
the
read.
kind of the one because I did a lot of streaming.
Oh,
I
yeah,
did a
you were- dude, you
whole
were
ton
streaming.
of streaming.
Have I
so
missed the
didn't-
bus on Saga?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
Get on it.
Okay.
Jump on that bus.
They're not. It's not. Yeah, it's
Jump
nowhere
on
near
it.
over.
Jump on it.
Get on it.
Yeah, and honestly, I should do this while it's still my segment. There's a birthday shout out for an avid listener.
Hey, all right.
So I'm gonna birthday shout out to Australia.
Well,
The whole
there goes
country?
the birthday shout out that I had planned. So
Happy-
thanks,
happy
Piper.
birthday. Hey, you're welcome.
How old is Australia now?
A lady never asks, and a gentleman never has to admit.
Wait, what?
What?
Is that the right?
I don't
You
think
flipped it
that's
around.
the,
You flipped it around.
you
No,
flip
that's
it around.
right.
That's right.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
we're good.
You did it
All
right.
right. Okay.
And there it stays.
Hey, Steve's.
Yeah.
Take this away. What have you been reading?
Oh, I read one, and it's one that I've been
From
told
Metallica?
to read. Not that.
Oh,
no.
okay.
It was. I heard good things from our own Ben Schwartz here at Empires. I heard things from. hold
May the
it.
Schwartz be with you.
Hold it. I'll hold it. I heard things from the Launchpad in Lodi and said I had to finally buy it. I got Lock and Key
Hmm.
by Mr. Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, and yeah, it is spooky and eerie.
Spoopy.
I loved every second of it. Basically, there's this house in Lovecraft that if you have the right key or are able to open the door, it can either take you to a different spot. It can take the spirit out of you, and you're temporarily dead until that spirit you decide to go back to your body. So it's a ghost form.
You can. So either this takes you to like the World Series, or it kills you.
Oh, it temporarily kills you. You go in ghost form, and all you have to do is think about going back to your body, and you're back.
Okay.
So you have
That seems
control
like it'd be a
over it.
really quick journey.
It's
though,
like a spectral.
a
you can-
minor
yeah.
inconvenience.
So this house plays an important part in this family who suffered an extremely traumatic event in the very beginning. Dad dies
Ooh.
from this traumatic event. Someone goes to prison for it, and this family moves to this house that isn't the dad's family, in the dad's family itself, and the trauma from the past comes back to haunt them once again at their new location.
This sounds very like Halloween. I can see why you like this.
Well, and it has to deal with
Troubled family coming back to haunt them.
Also, me learning that Joe Hill is the pen name for Stephen King's son. He's the one who wrote this.
Yeah.
So, ooh,
And he named himself
Ooh,
after the
spooky
guy
there.
that killed Batman's family.
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
Really?
interesting.
So he wrote this. It has a very King feel to it. So the son definitely has the same talent as the father, but it was really good, really creepy. Ben and Launchpad and Lodi. You guys were absolutely right. Enjoyed every second of it. I need to get the second trade now because I'm hooked on it. But yeah, I was very happy I read this for the week and days leading up to Halloween. But Lock and Key, I absolutely approve.
Man, this candle does smell great.
It
I
does-
told you. I
yeah.
mean, as scary as you want to be, it smells.
Smells real
great.
nice.
It's like you're about to get killed, and it's like, you know what? I don't mind that.
I've got
much.
a
good smell
Halloween
to die
Nag
to.
Champa. I just don't care.
So we just can't win here. So I also read some comic books this week.
What did you read,
I
Barry?
read two books in particular. One of which was Batman: The Drowned.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the metal tie-in. We got all the one shots. So I've been focusing on these because I was really interested in them. You know, the Red Death, Murder
Right.
Machine.
Well, there was no real there was a lot of setup and no this was the event basically,
Exactly.
like introducing all the villains.
We're finding out who these Dark Knights are, and so Batman: The Drowned focuses on, of course, the Batman who takes on Aquaman's abilities.
The Batwoman.
Exactly. So in this world, in the Dark Multiverse, everyone is 100%
Brucetta Wayne.
Bryce Wayne.
Bryce.
With a Y. Yes.
Bryce.
So everyone is gender bent. Literally everyone is the opposite gender. So Bryce Wayne is in love with Sylvester Kyle.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
I saw this comic book on. I mean, I don't want to on the internet. We'll put it that way.
on there.
And so I got to see the whole thing, and I actually I like the way that they gender swapped everybody and still kept it It was actually this one. I'll let you say, but it was like it was dark. It felt dark.
Oh
to
yeah,
me.
it was super dark. As all of these stories have been, it's basically when something happened that pushes Batman over the edge. And on this world, it has something to do with Aquawoman and the Atlanteans coming in peace, and then being a warring race with humanity, and Batwoman, Bryce Wayne, basically making these fundamental changes to her biology so that she can fight underwater, because the world ends up getting flooded. And she creates the Dead Water, which is the Dead Water is a recurring villain in the recent Aquaman run. But basically, the Dead Water is the army of the Bat Water Woman. Mm-hmm. So it's actually, in my opinion, it's one of the standout of the metal tie-ins. It's Dan Abnett, who Dan Abnett is just. He's fantastic. He's a wordsmith. I'm a really big fan of everything he does. And the other book that I read was I don't know if you're ready for this, Steve's. I know you disappeared back there, but come back.
The Tick Volume 1?
No, are you ready for this? Coming hot off the heels of the Marvel Legacy event was Thor 700.
Ooh, that 50-pager, right?
The 50-page epic
man.
that featured Jason Aaron, Walter Simonson, Andrew McLean.
Full name, Walter Simonson.
There was artists and writers, and I'm going to not even go out on a limb. In my opinion, Mighty Thor number 700
This is big.
was one of the best single-issue comics I have ever read in my life.
Wow. Between
Regardless
the time
of publisher,
Yeah.
regardless of
Really?
genre, it is so well done. It sets up so many good stories. It has such great art, such great writing. It gives nods to classic Thors. It looks to the future, and it ties in every Thor story that we've had up until this point.
Wow.
It is good. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and you should definitely check it out. Even if you haven't, even if you're one of the people that's like, my Thor's not a woman, shut up and read it anyway.
Sheesh, that's
because
kind of
it's
hostile.
well, I get angry at people.
At people that don't want Thor to be a woman.
Yeah, those people. So it's phenomenal. You should definitely check it out. So Round the Horn, as always, stop being weird. Is brought to you by
It's because he's got no light.
Empire's Comics Vault. Our home here, home away from home.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't see any of the books.
I was going to say, you're like waving around into the void right now.
Lose your arm.
There's books back
There's
there.
no one there. Okay, good.
Said, please come. They couldn't pay their bills. That's why we have the candles
Please
here.
donate. Please
There's
donate.
a reversed shatter mask back there.
So,
They're
Aaron,
open right now.
Sir Aaron Carter.
That is I.
Tell us briefly, what is it you do on your podcast, and tell us a little bit more about your podcast.
So we have a podcast called The Video Game Bang, and we routinely bake cookies on this show. People think we talk about video games, but that's not what we do whatsoever.
I've been listening. I should have been watching.
Very
if you've been
misleading.
making cookies.
Very misleading. No, we actually cover the full. I mean, we started as video games, but then we realized there are other things under the nerd and geek, spectrum, and we want to cover all of them. So, I mean, we do the show like twice a week, trying to push a third one in there, but we'll see how that rolls. And so we have the weekday show. We'll be all about video games. We'll talk about the latest and greatest that's coming out, all the news and, reviews and all that type of stuff. Then the weekend bang, we kind of we go all over the place. We might throw a little comic book news. We might throw a little cosplay. We might throw a little TV, movies, anything that's like, nerdgasm stuff. We like to cover it all.
You guys are nerdist.
We are
It's
very
just-
much.
Run the entire gamut.
Yes,
as
and
they say.
but I think I love doing that. Like you can't, or you can if you'd like, but I like being able to spread myself across a lot of different.
Bagels?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to wear all those different hats.
Cookies.
The schmear.
Yeah,
Lox
like
and-
so.
Oh God, he came out of nowhere.
What we're doing currently on the weekend one, at least, we're doing role playing, but Marvel style.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like the sound of this.
So I have the players. I'm the DM.
This is a D&D.
This is
but
very
in the Marvel
loose,
universe.
very loose D&D.
Are you using like GURPS? The GURPS engine?
Skirps McGurps.
No, we had somebody in our chat actually recommend that for us, but
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was.
Oh,
So
well, you're not a big enough nerd, apparently.
yeah, I'm not. Sorry.
You didn't hang out in a
Yeah.
math classroom in high school.
That's very much true.
During lunch.
That's very much true. It's kind of a pass or fail depending on the difficulty of the of the task you want to do.
Yeah.
That's what we've done. Kind of like a Harmon's Quest.
More storytelling and less game mechanics.
Because I'm, as a writer, love storytelling.
Nice.
And you are the
And-
Spencer.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I so much so.
Can I be there for this?
I want to get, and we were talking with your very own Amy. I was talking with your Cables Crusader Amy about expanding, because right now it's just the X-Men universe that they're
okay.
within. I want to expand to the full-blown Marvel universe.
Yes.
So
The
you're
players-
thinking aggressive expansion.
Yes. Yes.
No. But still,
Oh, the optical illusion was just gone now.
And that's kind of what Barry loves to do. is just
I like to ruin
yeah.
the moment.
You're the guy that
Murder the wall.
stands and ruins magic tricks when the magician is out on
I
stage.
see the string. I see
Yeah.
it.
Every other card is the 9 of spades.
Exactly.
It's a
She's bending over, just not cutting in half. No, those are fake legs.
Is that how it works?
yeah.
Oh.
He's an identical twin.
She's really
This is
drowning.
stupid.
She's really drowning.
you know.
Yeah.
She's really drowning.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
Well, so thank you for coming on, and
Come
we,
in
we
anytime.
wanted to bring you in on this conversation in
Ooh.
particular,
Yeah.
mainly because
Black Lives Matter.
uh,
Oh, I didn't know what we were talking
No,
about.
we just wanted to know where
Okay.
Bang came from.
No, that's-
Okay.
why Bang?
that's not really a discussion. That's a fact. Stay woke, kids.
Okay.
But what I wanted to bring you on for, just because you, as a running the what would you say, the gamut?
The
Gamut.
gamut. Yeah.
The gamut.
Very
It's
good.
not. It's
not
not.
the gambit.
I thought it was gambit.
No, I. No,
My bad.
Get on there. Get on there.
It's a
Get on
false
there.
alarm.
Aye.
So.
Where the rogue at?
Jeez.
Oh.
So running the pop culture gamut, what I wanted to talk about is what actually makes this show frustrating is this person next to me. But what makes comic books scary? Because I am of the mindset that personally, I'm not necessarily always entertained by scary, creepy, horror comic books.
Spooky, scary. Okay.
But at the same time, are they really scary?
So-
are they really?
that's a tough one to. I would say it's a tough one to fight on the side of they are.
Right.
'Cause I'm kind of on the side that they kind of aren't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like I've tried to read horror manga
Oh yeah.
as well.
Oh.
Manga as an art style doesn't. I don't think that could be scary.
Yeah, it doesn't lean its.
I
It doesn't
think I
lend
would have
itself
assumed
to it.
the opposite. I would have assumed that manga could be scarier
Well,
than comics.
Really?
I thought
Not
maybe.
to sound. I don't even know. I guess it's not racist. The Japanese don't scare me.
That's Black Lives Matter. That's a fact.
Yeah, they don't really
That's
scare me.
I mean that's how we got where we were in World War II because
they
they
don't
didn't
scare
scare
me.
us. So
I saw
What?
Is that the Japanese people don't scare me? Stay woke.
they
kids?
do some they do some really jacked up stuff in their horror genre of all their tales. You know,
true.
Yes.
but
Grudge.
I've never if a little 7-year-old long-haired, dark-haired girl comes at me like that, then I mean I'm not afraid of that.
But what
if
if
a
she
little
got
boy
ghosty strength?
No, well then I see that's a different thing. That's
Then
a
you're dead
physical.
anyways.
Yeah, you're dead anyway.
I feel like I don't personally since I don't enjoy like the art style of manga as itself, like it's
Now that's racist.
Really?
I don't like manga.
So
like
you haven't read not one manga where you were like,
I've read them. No, I've read them and like the art is fine, but it doesn't like it doesn't do it for me.
I keep reading them, but I hate them.
No, I mean it's not that I hate it. It just doesn't really affect me the same way. So it's
As
almost
what? As a comic?
Yeah, like
Or
yeah. What's the
as
difference?
as a movie.
no what movie?
Yeah, like I find movies scary, but I'm on his side.
Yeah, because I can find a movie like a horror movie. I don't do horror movies. Two
No, me neither.
reasons. One, I know this breaks your heart over there,
Uh-huh.
but
I'm with you, Steve. I
but
got you.
this is the only reason why. Because one, I'm afraid of them.
Okay.
Just gonna put that out there. I'm scared of them. Because I'm
I think-
helpless.
I think I
just,
know this, actually.
You're just sitting and making me watch horror images.
But what if it's a 7-year-old girl with long hair?
Then no. Then I'm like, that's okay. I've got godchildren scarier than her. Like, that's not. But the other thing is too, I don't really feel like a lot of, and this is for modern, I guess, horror movies, that they focus on the actual story as opposed to just scaring you, looking for jump
Okay.
scares
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like some
And
of the
less
older
time building
ones,
suspense and
yeah, some of the
important
older
stuff
ones
and-
when they had to do special effects themselves and it wasn't CG and all that type of stuff, then they can go for story. But nowadays it's kind of like, let's go for
Right.
how much gore we can put in there, one,
Yeah.
and how much jump scares we can
Which
throw at you.
and because I am also not a horror person.
Okay.
I don't like being scared.
Yeah, like, well, who wants to do that?
Yeah, this weirdo next to me. But
I
but
dig
also
it a little bit,
but
too.
also
It's,
like to your point, a lot of people I know, I have not seen either of the It movies. I have not seen the Tim Curry. I have not seen the Skarsgård.
I know what you're up to next week.
But, God, I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm coming over.
But
Clowns don't scare me either. Sorry.
from the what I gotten from a lot of people is that the original one was scarier because they had to work harder. They had to work harder to scare you, and this one had a lot more like jump scares and scary CG moments that were kind of like they shook you in the moment, but they didn't have any long lasting effects.
Practical effects over the CG all day,
Which-
especially
which-
with 4K coming out.
Which is why I feel like with comic books, it takes a lot for a comic to bother me in the long term. Like I'm with you. Like shock, I'm gonna say part of the reason, and I'm one of the few people I know that did not actually enjoy Lock and Key. I did not like Lock and Key.
Uh-oh.
The art style, I think the art style was
Kick him
too.
in the head, right?
The art style was too soft for me, I think.
Ooh.
But also the shock of what happens to the family, to me, like, I don't know, it's not that it seems cheap, because it's still definitely terrible to have that happen to the mother and to the father. Like everything they went through is awful. I'm in no way trying to take away from that trauma. But to me, it's I like a little bit more complication in my creepy stories.
So I got a question for you, Doc.
Yeah.
Do you find novels scary? Have you ever read a horror novel, and found that scary?
The only horror novel I have ever read was The Shining.
Oh.
And
I did I pulled a Joey Tribbiani and I put it in the freezer.
As a room like 247.
That's not actually what I did, but no, but I can't. I had to stop.
okay, so here my theory then would be
I think I know where
that
you're going.
when you're reading because I think the scariest thing is the unknown.
Right.
So when you're in a novel, you don't see anything.
Right.
So in
Exactly.
your head, you've got
You
all that.
imagine, yeah.
You create that
it,
horror. Yeah.
and you lock yourself in there.
And so in a comic book, you got all the visuals right in front
Right.
of you, and you can look at it and you can adapt and be like, that's not scary.
Well,
Oh,
and
he's
you
got
can
a
also
knife. Wow.
You can turn the page. You could just turn the
Yeah,
page
right.
back if something
Exactly.
is bothering
Throw the
you.
book across the room. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's, you
Which
got
is
the power.
Which is why I think it really comes down to the story, because the visuals can only do so much. Like visuals can be gory, visuals can bother you if it's like pretty realistic looking. Like it can
Yes.
make you upset. You're like, oh, I don't like seeing that person's guts spilled all over the place. But it's why books because a lot of people classify Sandman as horror, and as they classify it as a lot of things because it does run
You said it, and I've read all of them twice through, and I never would have called it horror.
right.
To me, I mean, if somebody said like, "Oh, classic horror book, Sandman," I would have said like, "That's not a horror, man."
That's the
a-
one that Joseph Gordon
He
Levitt wanted to make.
wants
right?
to. Yeah, he wants to
do that
do
one,
it.
right?
He wants to direct it and
Yeah, he
star
wants
in
to
it.
direct the
That'd be
star in that
rad.
one.
But it's now okay. I'm Gaiman or Gaiman. I hear both people pronounce it.
I commonly Gaiman.
I always say
say
Gaiman.
Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman. So
think it is,
so
yeah.
Neil Gaiman wrote it, and it's a
don't know
lot
what
of
it
people.
is.
It's considered like the
man.
the gothic horror. It's not like the Western like psycho mass murderer horror. It's more like the trippy existential
It is.
horror
It's a
of the mind.
Yeah.
Which I get, because I mean there were parts that made me think, and I think that's also kind of it's like if a comic book can make me think about something and send me down that path that like a scary book can take you down, like it locks you in your own kind of brain and it makes you go down a way that you just can't come back from. There were a couple moments in Sandman that did that. Swamp Thing did that to me too.
Excuse me?
Swamp Thing?
The superhero Swamp Thing.
The Alan Moore version of Swamp Thing.
What
which
part
was,
made, like, I can see if you said the live action movie, that was scary as all can be. Not in a horrific
Oh dear,
way.
it's happening. It's happening. He's changing into Swamp Thing.
have
right now.
you not read Swamp Thing by Vertigo? Alan Moore?
I maybe have to read the Vertigo one.
So if
because
you-
I know DC's like kind of version of
Yeah,
Swamp Thing.
don't know
Okay,
that one.
all right, all right. I'm just saying.
No,
So maybe
okay.
I need to read the Vertigo.
You do need to read the Vertigo one.
Okay.
So you need to read the Saga of the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore.
Alan Moore's a good writer.
He's insane.
yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, Brian K. Vaughan took it over at one point. Grant Morrison took it over. Then Mark Millar finished it off. That was when he was still in the DC universe, but he was not really involved in the DC. He had
Dream
Okay.
team of writers.
he had
they got
yeah,
on
dude.
that. Like,
He had minimal interaction with the DC universe. At one point, like
Yeah.
he does like overgrow Gotham and he fights Batman a little bit, but it was only for like an issue. It was more about the issues of his humanity, the issues of losing that humanity, the issue of like what your humanity actually means. So that in that way, because I mean, even that one, it's being in the 80s and 90s, the art style was. I look at it now, I'm like, okay, like I appreciate it, but it does not scare me the way, or it doesn't bother me the way like a modern artist can make something that bothered me.
Have they pushed that that Swamp Thing to the forefront? The Vertigo Swamp Thing. Because, like, literally, when you said Swamp Thing, I'm literally thinking automatically Justice League Dark type of stuff. I'm thinking DC hardcore.
They have not given him the due as the Alan Moore style.
And I take it you
Yeah,
have not seen the latest Batman and Harley Quinn cartoon movie. Because he's in that.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, he's in that for all of
They-
1 minute.
They
and
sometimes they treat him poorly. They treat him as just a monster character.
they
and,
treated him.
and he's so
very
much
poor
more
in
than that. And
he was in Metal for like a minute.
yeah, and in Metal he was literally just he was the boogeyman. He was the way Batman was going to scatter them, and because they summoned this monstrous elemental, the Knight of the Green of the Parliament of Trees. Like
oh
he's
my god.
Right.
he's the representative of the Earth, and in the way the Earth wants to, in some ways, purge humanity because it causes it so much damage. Like the book makes you think about like what we're doing to the environment, what that it's gonna mean, but
Right.
also like what actually makes us human.
So real life implications on what makes you think like what it is to be human, or if like asks you uncomfortable questions about yourself or what you're doing, like what we're doing to the environment.
Yeah.
I guess those are kind of a social horror, but like in the traditional sense that we're talking about, I don't know if I can be horrified, scared by
yeah.
a visual medium like a book like that. Not like a movie can do. It needs that kind of shock that I don't think a book can provide me.
Do you?
But like those questions will stick with me sometimes.
Who
So I'm-
does? Is there somebody on this panel that does get scared by comic books?
Steve's, you seem like you.
I mean, you've been quiet
but
over there.
You like
You've been-
horror, so it doesn't.
So
scare.
I love the horror stories. Whether it's movie, whether it's book. Thank you. The Candle of Speaking.
Lavender.
It does smell lovely.
I told you. Yeah.
Take it away from the horror aspect. This
Exactly.
candle smells great.
This
Ruins
is
my
just
fingers.
pleasant.
Let's just get a little lower. Put it up on the book. That'll work right there. That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry. But you were right regarding whether a comic book or a book. The book, what creates half the fear you have is your own mind.
Yeah.
And when you're reading the words, your mind starts putting things together. With the comic book, yes, I never really get jump scared from comic books or frightened by comic books, but I find the stories, if they're good, intriguing. The stories drive me, and I think of the story itself, and that's what I find eerie. I put myself in the world that these characters are in and see the fear they're going through, and that's what I find to be scary or eerie. It doesn't make me not want to read it. It doesn't freak me out. It just puts me in that tone, that sense. But yeah, a novel is going to have more of the jump scare, or a movie, than a comic book or graphic novel ever will have. And with movies today versus movies back then, it's absolutely right. They had to focus more on storylines back then. You had to create these characters like Freddy, a child murderer who is burned by the parents of that town, only to come back to life by haunting the kids in their dreams. Therefore, these kids can never fall asleep.
And again, just to sidetrack, Freddy is not the bad guy in that movie.
You think he's a good guy, right?
I mean, I don't think he's the good guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you have a whole town that burns,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
you expect no repercussion. Like
Right,
everybody's
exactly.
just
And
going
then
to live happily ever after.
And
Okay.
then you have Jason, the poor little kid who couldn't swim, who the counselors weren't watching as he drowned, comes back to life.
Exactly.
All
His
these
mother.
people are victims.
Yeah,
man.
they're victims.
Except
Well,
Well,
the
for-
only
except
one,
for Myers.
and that's why my favorite,
Yeah.
Michael Myers. You have in the true John Carpenter stories, not the spin-offs and everything. John Carpenter story in the first movie, you have no background as to why Michael is Michael. He is simply this force of evil
Okay.
that just can't be stopped.
Let's go ahead.
And I'm gonna keep
Okay.
on
Okay.
talking.
All right. Let's. There we go. We'll go ahead and put that out. Somebody's getting a little upset that I was calling these people victims as opposed to.
That's-
Yeah, let's not like them anymore.
If that's not a sign,
The
I
demon
don't know what
Azagog does
is.
not like your words.
Michael would
So this displeases me.
maybe just phone
Say
Aaron Carter.
Don't you say an
You've spoken
unkind word
poorly.
about comics.
With Michael, you have no background. The guy is just plain evil, trying to hunt down these people, and just can't be stopped. So yeah, there's more complexity in the stories back then, and a book I think will be more frightening than a comic will. But I still find these stories quite entertaining.
I think we're searching for a definition between all these things.
I was just about to
because
say.
one is like jump scares, one is like I was frightened by this, and the other, like a book, is a slow burn. Like I read a lot of Stephen King when I was young. The Dark Tower, that got me into stuff like desperation and that stuff. I read those, and I was like, I was just at unease. After I read them for a while,
What
I was in where I was thinking about stuff, or just going like, ugh, I was put there.
And I guess that what it comes down to is, do we when you say like it doesn't horrify you, like the only thing that really horrifies me is usually like real life
Right.
acts, like the terrible things that humans do to each other, and
Stay woke still.
yeah, like
Get Out.
yeah,
That didn't scare me.
it's you know.
I'm on the
Did not scare
I'm on
me.
the podcast, and I will not.
I
I'm an
watched that
equal
movie.
number.
I watched that movie twice, and I watched it with a good friend of mine, and she happens to be, African American, but we were kind of raised differently, and she had a lot of questions after the movie.
About being African American?
You would be surprised.
Interesting.
You'd be surprised. But it wasn't. And I'm not going to speak for every black person out there.
No, you're here. You have to now.
But
This is the forum,
I'm not gonna
public
be,
forum.
I don't want to be the representative, but I feel
It's too late.
Any black person that watched that wasn't scared. They kind of were like,
Yep.
"You, get it?
Like, yeah.
Huh?" And then,
It's the movie they're trying to show other people.
yeah, like
It's just-
somebody when I was at the theater, I heard somebody say, "Thank you," and I'm like.
every 5
Yeah,
seconds
like,
or after it was over.
Yeah, like they kind of were just like, yeah, it's about time somebody shows that in a movie, like.
Hmm.
But
So Aaron, I was watching Blackish the other night. Isn't that a great show?
That-
that's Get Out, right? That's what Get Out is.
I've never
basically.
seen Blackish. Tell you the honest truth, I've never seen. A lot of friends
Proving the
have
point.
told me to watch that show, and I never felt the desire. I'm like, why would I watch a show about something I live every day, right? But no.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, I like to escape whenever I watch or read,
Yeah.
books and stuff like that. But I mean, true horror, I think. So I saw a thing with comic books to wrap it back around, and are they scary or something? I saw
or something.
or whatever.
I saw a comic book, a way that you can interact with the comic book where you have your cell phone
Oh yeah.
and it makes like a little action thing or something like
yeah?
that.
Huh.
You can probably make a scary horror comic book like that. Like if you link it up with some type of app and it plays like eerie music, and then as you're
Oh.
exploring the page with your phone, maybe you get a jump scare.
Yeah.
It makes like a scream or like
or something like that. Like make it interactive.
Good lord.
So I guess what I'm getting from all of you is that basically books, because you have to use your imagination so much. The book scares you.
Correct.
The movie, because it can create more of an environment.
Scare you? Does it scare you?
No.
It should scare you.
I don't.
That was just
Don't scare too
That's
easy.
just an old Portuguese lady
Yeah,
who
that
just
doesn't. Not as smelling as good as the
Would
candle,
you like some
but
sweet bread? Do you want sweet bread? Portuguese sweet
do you want the candle back, or do you prefer the dead gnome beard?
I probably said that the dead gnome beard would go.
Okay. I wish it
You
would
would go. Yeah.
Do you want sweet bread?
Jesus.
Do you
My
Curtis,
Jesus, someone get
I think Borat is asking me if I want sweetbread.
I'm gonna light the old Portuguese lady on fire.
sweet bread. No.
Steve,
Oh, so sorry.
nicht tight.
We get
Gavenia.
So anyway, my point was
Avolosha.
that again, books, because you have to create you have to create the visuals and everything, you scare yourself.
Yes.
And then movies, because they're able to create the environment with the sound and the visuals, whether or not they have CG and jump scares, but they're able to like show you so much more, but to create that entire environment and kind of
Yeah.
bring you in, they're able to scare you.
And then that's unnerving.
But basically, books, because they are just text and images, don't quite have the same.
Or without providing images, I think that does it a disservice for horror.
What do you feel about horror video games? Are you scared of those?
See, horror video. I mean, that falls that falls to me. That's even more scary than a movie, because you do in a movie you're just watching, you're just experiencing that.
Yeah.
And in the game, your choices affect it, and you can move towards it or away from it, and so almost like that feeling of control makes it worse.
And they can do jump scares in that
see,
too.
I feel the opposite.
Really?
I feel if I am not in control, that's scary to me. In a video game, I'm in control. Something's coming at me. So, like, the Resident Evils have ceased to be scary to me because you get an arsenal,
Yeah.
in the game.
But did you play PT?
So now that
Okay.
that takes the control. I don't have a gun. I don't have any weapons.
That's true.
I just have to
So,
experience
not
this
necessarily
horror
control,
at
but no
me.
defense.
Yes.
Like you can't like there's
When you're defenseless, that is definitely when you
so
have
like Fatal Frame. You just got a camera and then you got to run.
Exactly.
Okay, I
Those
gotcha.
are the true horror games that we need to get back to. And
Clock Tower. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2,
like
when there's
those.
psychological horror games.
When there's pyramid head coming after you,
my
you've
God.
just gotta run.
We don't get that anymore.
That's
Now
true.
you get level 1, you have a bazooka.
We got PT. Well, they pulled it on us, but we got PT.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
it's one of the scariest things I've seen.
but I don't know. I don't understand why we won't do anything like that again. Like, it's always just an arsenal. You have so many guns.
Right.
Like, I don't care. I'm not like zombies in Call of Duty. That's not scary to me.
No.
I'm
Right.
shooting everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Junkenstein on Overwatch.
Exactly. It's not scary. to
Overwatch
me.
is not scary. At all.
Overwatch.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a Zomnik though.
I guess I mean, to kind of compare, to give me an analogy, would we say that
No.
They wouldn't say that at all.
What do you say? What do you say?
can I kind of make my point?
Let's make it.
Ooh.
So would you say like scary, so you equate scary to heat in food, like spicy level, okay?
Okay.
Like intensity.
Yeah,
I'm with
intensity.
you. Go ahead.
Intensity. So would you say that like a scary movie, a good scary movie is like more like a ghost pepper, where it coats and it burns and you can't get away from it, and it causes the tears and everything, whereas like a comic book is more like a poblano, like it's got flavor, but it doesn't really take you anywhere beyond.
I
where
don't
you're
even
at.
feel they have flavors. They're very bland to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A horror like when Nailbiter, they labeled as horror as well, but I didn't feel like it was horror. I'm like, okay, there's killers in this,
Right.
but I never felt like there was a moment where I was reading about a character, or I was with a character and I felt like this character was in danger of being injured or harmed or something. So that it didn't feel like there was to me, the mystery part of it like bled through more than the horror part of it.
It's horror themed,
Yeah.
horror flavored, but it's not scary.
And so I'm thinking you have to lock down that definition then. What do you consider horror? Because there's mystery, and I understand the unknown is scary,
Right.
but is that necessarily horror?
That's true, because I don't get scared at detectives like whodunits.
Exactly.
And that's
And they're in the same realm.
Right.
So, let's. I think you got to lock it down. Like, it's what's scary. I think, and I've said this with friends before about writing. I'm like, the hardest things for me to write are horror and comedy, two difficult things to write.
Mhm.
So,
Oh yeah.
I guess I would say, yeah, you have to lock down that definition of what do you consider horror,
I think it's got to be personal.
and that's the other thing.
Like that's comedy. It's only funny if it's personal. If I understand it, it's only scary if it could happen to me, or if it's personal. Like it's like she's under my bed sheets. No, it's not safe. Like,
And then how do you do that in a comic book
Right.
to get to that specific person? Because what's scary for you may not be scary for me. What's funny to you may not be funny to me.
right.
So you have to do it for a mass appeal, which is hard. Everybody can look up to, you're like, oh, we all like the underdog or one thing, or oh, we all like the superhero. That's that's cool.
Right.
But when it comes to horror and comedy, that's kind of to the individual.
So a comic book is like a movie, but it doesn't have the advantage of like jump scare or like
Yes.
building suspense like a movie.
You see what's coming. Like
You
said,
see it all
turn
the time,
page,
yeah.
You see it's coming, yeah.
I don't want to do the centerfold.
Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does lack something. I've never been scared by a comic.
I hope
I've
there's
been-
one out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that challenge to be.
Are you still
You
Well,
know?
and I feel like especially sometimes it's just in horror movies I feel like I have the same issue, but the books especially, like sometimes the premise is so ridiculous. Like hack slash is like what would you define hack slash
Yeah,
as?
would you consider that one horror?
Because it's
I think, well, if you,
and does
go ahead.
horror scare you?
I think because the elements she's dealing with, that's why it's horror. I think, like, Hack Slash, My First Maniac, was Tim Seeley's first story with Image. That one did a good job of, it gave you the horror feel, cornfield, kids having a party outside, slasher watching them, slasher with a scary-looking scarecrow face. And there's still the haunting part of it because Cassie is stalked. She's attacked, but it's just that she attacks back. She fights back as well. So, I mean, I'd say it's horror action with comedy because she's a smartass. She's dealing with, a Michael Myers-like character. She's dealing with Jason-like characters, Chucky-like characters.
Yeah.
So she's in the horror world. It's just she's not always the victim. She's also hunting the hunter.
Well, and I think is horror scary? Does horror equate scary?
That's supposed to be. I think that's supposed to be the
scary
end game of horror.
But I mean, it's like horror also suggests violence. Sometimes it doesn't. This is what sucks. Is there's such a broad
so many
definition.
That's why I said you probably have to lock that down first before you.
more about the world that it takes place in than the effect that it has on you.
Yeah.
Because it's a genre. I mean, you're categorizing it. Horror means that like it intends to horrify you. That's literally like what the name comes from. But what they place it, it's used more as where the story takes place in, what kind of world the story takes place in. This is going to be an action type story. It takes place in an action setting. It's going to be a horrifying type story. It takes place in more of a horror type setting. I think it's more about that. That makes it easier to define. Not so much the effect it has on you,
No.
but what the genre is. That's how you define the genre. And then after that,
That's
then
what
can
you-
ask yourself, this
Does it-
particular story did
Does
have
it
that
scare
effect.
you?
Yeah, how effectively does that pull you into that environment?
yeah,
that
'cause it
world?
can
How are
be-
you invested?
Because that is like it's a horror story, and that there is a murderer who is chasing kids, and she goes and she fights back. So that's
the twist to it, is that
That's
she's
the,
fighting back,
The
yeah.
horror
So
aspect.
the
there.
fighting back takes it away, right? That's what you feel.
If it's that's when the action takes over, because it's like a horror in that we got these killers and these murders and stuff, but then it goes to the action because she's now fighting back, and
Right.
it changes her to a hero story rather than
Well,
a.
it's empowered, so now it's like Die Hard, which isn't a horror. It's just
Well,
kind of
and-
survival where you're gonna like facing off.
To do a series, if you were to take my dream of putting Hack Slash, my phone thought it said, "Hey Siri," if you were to take it as a series and put it on, you would need to have both the elements of horror and action. We need to see that killer stalk these innocent kids.
you can do that.
and have those fearsome parts and have it in there, and then you bring in the amazing Cassie, who deals with that but also turns it on them. She then has the scare tactic on the killer.
Have you ever seen the Evil Dead TV series?
Yes.
So I think they blended at least the first episode that
Mm-hmm.
I watched, the very first episode, I think did a very good job of blending that horror feeling, but then Ash comes in and
He's Ash.
he
That's
ashes
that's
it up.
gotta be
Yeah.
comedy.
Action comedy.
Like,
Action
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it because there were at times when I was afraid, and like oh, what's around that corner type of thing, and it was due to the directing and camera work and all that type of stuff. And then there were times where I'm like, root for the hero guy and his one-liners and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's-
Which I haven't read it yet, but the two did have a crossover comic. Ash and
I
Cassie.
haven't read that either.
They
Now
had
I
a
gotta go
crossover,
see
yeah.
that. Oh man.
So I feel like the general consensus is that comic books they are lacking an element that adds the ability to really scare you.
They can be eerie.
They could be eerie.
Yeah.
They could be creepy.
Yeah.
They can make you think. They can. I mean, I feel like a comic book can do the same thing that a novel does. It makes you get in your own imagination, and you can in turn scare yourself. But it takes you down that path.
I think it has to be you that scares yourself, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some artists who can draw an image that is scary.
I'd like to see that artist.
Yeah. I can show you a picture.
Nothing is scarier
He's
than
got
what
tattoos.
your
shirtless.
mind
That's pretty damn scary.
than what your mind creates. That's what the
That's
books have.
yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mind creates the ultimate fear.
Or whether you're scared of that or not. Like, people go and watch it, and they're just like, I hate clowns, I'm not going to do this. And I went and saw it. I'm like, that was a great remake. I loved it. But not frightened at all. Like, that, it didn't affect me. Like
Never
that.
got scared of clowns. Just want to fight them. Thanks to Batman.
Yeah,
Don't-
I
don't
mean,
need
yeah.
to- yeah.
I think that was the difference. If you grew up around comic books, you were never scared of clowns.
I want to fight a clown. Not scared of one.
Yeah, they were just a villain to you.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, so horror being a genre, but not necessarily scaring, and scary being something we kind of take, we scare ourselves more
Yeah.
than anything.
Yep.
But without the story, you wouldn't
Right.
have anything taking you down there. So, and without the images, you wouldn't necessarily. I mean, you would have in your imagination
Right.
kind of coming into play, but obviously the images help kind of guide you from there. But overall, so we don't think comic books can
Not
be
at all.
scary.
I don't.
Not at all.
No, yeah.
Not one bit.
Eerie, not scary.
His Majesty and Sir Webb, or Sir Carter. I've
Yeah,
just
oh, yeah.
Carter webbed you.
Don't knighthood Webb. He definitely doesn't.
I've Sir Carter.
He's not there yet.
We don't think so.
He's not
Well, I
not
mean-
there yet.
The Royals over here.
And
We don't
Steve, and
think
you agree.
I agree that comics eerie, spooky, but not scary.
Okay,
Alright.
so all the synonyms of scary, but not
Not-
scary.
not-
Got it. Okay,
last part,
that's pretty
that
much what I
last
just got from everyone.
Where did you land?
So where did I land?
Yeah, where?
I read Witches and stayed up till 3 a.m. and
That was a great
angrily tweeted at Scott Snyder because his book did scare me.
That was a great
because,
book.
you.
That was a
yeah,
great book.
I can be
Which
scared
was that the one with the
with the Y.
with a Y, yeah.
Oh,
That was good.
I'm thinking of the old movie. Where
Nope.
The,
We did this too. We did this.
I swear to you guys. What I
We,
was thinking.
last
yes,
a couple
that's
of
what I was thinking.
a couple of Halloweens ago we did
Because
have
that
them,
scared
them
me.
face off.
That was a scary when they were transforming.
When I was
oh
a
my
kid.
That's
god.
the only scary part.
Yeah.
So I
Nightmares.
personally
Oh,
I am of the camp that you can be scared by a comic because I have been scared, but it's also because I just tend to have a horrendously just overactive imagination, and
That'll help.
yeah
That will
so
help.
That didn't scare me, Steve, but you're not
Jump scares. Wait, go Portuguese lady on him. He hates
No,
that.
do not
That's-
go
that's
Portuguese
scary.
Portuguese lady. Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
do it.
because that's about that's gonna wrap it up for this episode
Get scared?
of the Capeless Crusaders.
Make the cross.
As always, you can find anything related to the Capeless Crusaders at thecaplesscrusaders.com. Make sure you don't go to the next Portuguese festa just so this guy loses all aspects of his culture.
Not until next May.
You can find anything related to the Capeless Crusaders on social media, our blogs, articles, so on and so forth. You can find our Twitch there.
Yes.
Special thank you to Empires Comics and Computer Booters, our sponsors for the show. Best place to track down some comic books. Empires Comics,
And-
best place to get some
yeah.
computer repairs, some retro video games.
And go play.
Computer boot. And so go play. I mean,
Yeah.
Curtis is going to be down there. He hangs out. So for the Capeless Crusaders, my name is David Barry at Dr. Barry on varying social media platforms. And yes, sometimes funny books scare me. To my left, I have.
Farewell, foolish mortals. This has been His Majesty, the Mad Piper.
I like that.
Happy birthday, Catherine.
I like that. Yeah. I didn't do the happy birthday because you did it early.
That's
Because you ham-fisted Segued it.
I've got, and that's my job, but I did it twice. See, I got two.
Oh, you got two in.
I got two in. That's good.
Our guest for the evening, down all the way on the left.
Sir Aaron Carter with the Video Game Bang. You can find me at YDAAK, or you can hit me up on the VGBstudios.com, where you can find all our shows, the Video Game Bang.
He is not Webb.
I'm definitely not Webb. Definitely not Webb.
And not Corey. All the way over
Definitely not Webb.
on the right in the creepy, eerie dark.
If I some bread.
Hello, Father Marin.
Oh, God.
What an excellent day for an exorcism. This is the Azorian one, Anthony Steves.
For the Capeless Crusaders and everyone involved, make sure you have a fun and safe Halloween. Good night.